Today I'm doing a lower leg wax for you in real time, but I will be explaining through the process as well. I'm going to be showing you my beginner patterns, which is perfect for new solo waxers or even students, so keep watching. These are the supplies that you're going to need for a lower leg wax. Pre-wax cleanser, pre-wax oil, body waxing sticks, gloves of course, some cotton rounds, and dry clean paper towel. Today we're going to be using our Rebel Wax Hybrid 50/50. Reason I chose this formula is because it's pretty cold where we're working right now. I suspect my client's skin's going to be a little bit on the colder side as well, so this is going to really help combat that while still having a really great grip, being able to remove everything from the root. And side note, this is also very beginner friendly, but it's also amazing for advanced waxers as well. And you get the best of both worlds from the gel and the cream mixed together. Okay, so I'm gonna bend you at the knee here. So we have a first time lower leg client here today. We're going to start with a pre-wax cleanser. Now, one of the issues that is super common with leg waxing especially is strip breakage. And the most common reason why is cold or dehydrated skin. Her skin is nice and warm, which is a pleasant surprise being that it's pretty cold here in Bend right now. So I don't suspect that to be a big issue. And her skin does not look very dehydrated either. So this is going to be a really great demo for you guys. When you're cleansing, front and back, make sure you're very thorough on this. Any pain with this bruise? No. Perfect. So we can go straight over that. All right, now we're going to do a pre-wax oil. Same thing, make sure you're covering front to back. This is why I like to position them with their knee bent. So I'm doing the front and back at the same time. If speed is your eventual goal, then you want to create these little habits from the very beginning, allowing you to get quicker. We don't want to waste time on our prep, but we still want to be thorough. Dry clean paper towel, wipe away any of that excess oil. It's still doing its job. It works just like conditioner in the shower. Even though you rinse it out, you still feel the effects of it. Your hair is nice and hydrated and silky smooth. Same with our oil as well. You don't want too much excess or else the wax will not adhere properly. So I'm gonna start with having you kind of point your toes inwards. So first I'm gonna start here and pull it all the way down. Make sure, super important, we're always stirring our pot. I'm gonna turn this up just a little bit more. So we're gonna be doing a large basic. So you're actually gonna be getting a lot of wax on your stick here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and apply, deposit, lots of pressure, all the way past the hairline, come back up, lots of pressure, come up to the top again. Just thicken this up with whatever wax is left on your stick and go ahead and create your lip. Now I want to see how this is setting before applying a second strip. It's setting quickly, so I know I just need to do a lay pull method rather than a lay pull method. I'm gonna get a little grip, deep breath. Yep, see how it starts to set a little too quick? Okay, so at this point, we do not want to torture our client with that. So what you're gonna do is thicken up this strip a little bit, and then I'll show you the adjustments that are needed to be made on the next strips so that this does not happen. I didn't think we'd run into this, but it being colder in this room and a first-time client can definitely play a role in that as well. All right, deep breath, one more. If this happens, apply here and remove the rest of the way through. Not too worried about this. We can go back over it or you can simply just peel that off. All right, adjustments that need to be made. So I did what is called an expanding strip where I did one pass and then I scooted over to expand that strip. Now the adjustment I'm gonna make is I'm going to do one pass and then lift and go over the same area again to thicken up that strip a little bit and then remove immediately. So still the lay pull method, and then I'm going to switch over to a building strip rather than an expanding strip. Normally I would do what you do to one side, you do to the other. I'm just gonna work on one leg and then work on the other leg. Okay, again, large basic, but we're making that adjustment, like I said, right under the knee here, pressure, pressure, pressure. Going past that hairline and now just building this up. Grab some of this excess wax, making sure we're really keeping everything nice and even. And then go ahead and create our lip right there. Get a little lift, so we want it to be tacky. Now on legs, especially first timers, I really like to pull halfway. You can even do in 3. But see how much easier that came up? Look at the results there. The hairs were removed from the root. So even though it feels like this is gonna slow you down, I promise you it's not slowing you down as much as dealing with every single strip breaking, having to go back, build it up. You're gonna go through so much wax. So that first strip, always use that as your trial run and then make any adjustments needed. It's really important that you know what adjustments are needed when you're dealing with wax strip breakage. All right, now we're gonna do the inner leg here, same thing. So I can either be positioned here, or I actually really like to go to the side of the treatment table here. And now I'm gonna be pushing this strip away from me. So you guys really need to be practicing pushing and pulling. Important that everything's nice and even. And how you position yourself for the application isn't necessarily how you need to be positioned for the removal. So don't be afraid to be moving around. All right, that way and the rest of the way through. Any residue, you can use the shiny part, the part that was not touching skin, push it in and it will pick that right up. All right. We did good. Now we'll move on to the other leg before doing any cleanup strips. Large basic. I'm actually going to start on the inner part here, right next to the knee. Pressure, 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 past the hairline. Build this up. Now, in this circumstance, I would not recommend a gel-only wax. You really want to be working with a hybrid 50-50, which is gel and cream, or just a straight cream-based wax. So it's really important you guys have that on hand so that if you run into scenarios like this, you have everything needed to still provide an effective service. The most common areas to run into this is definitely legs. Legs, sometimes arms, but really it's usually legs. Sometimes men's back or just back in general. All right, oh. You can see how nice and pliable this stays as well, which is really rare for a cream wax, but that's why I love having this gel based in there as well. You get really the best of both worlds. All right, now I'm gonna be working on this leg. So I'm actually gonna stand over here and be pushing away from me again. And create your lip. All right, I already can see that's gonna be an issue. I'm gonna grab a little bit more wax and you can see where I created my strip a little too thin. I almost want to just not even be able to see that hair. And then we'll remove right away. If it starts to split, just fold it in, get it reconnected, and pull the rest of the way through. We're gonna move on to knee, and then we'll move into cleanup strips. So I'm going to bend her at the knee here. And now that we've done these sides, we really only kind of have to go over the top there, which makes it easy. Deposit, go straight over on the side, straight over the top, and then kind of off to the side. So making sure you're always on your edge with the stick here and adjusting as you come around the curve of the knee there. I am going to risk it and see if I can lay both of these without it setting too quickly on me. I'm actually going to build this a little bit with this fresh wax and then get straight to removal. Make sure you adjust as you come around the curve of the knee so you're not lifting, continuing to go in this direction, and you can actually bruise and lift the skin right there. All right. Moving on to cleanup strips, I'm going to position her legs downwards again. We'll turn your toes inwards. Now we're gonna go against the hair growth. Still grabbing a decent amount of wax, but I am gonna try to cover a little bit of a larger area here since it is a cleanup strip. I will see if I regret my decision on that one. If you are a waxer, an esthetician who is also providing facial services, you can, when clients have colder skin, you can start with a warm towel from the towel cabbie to kind of help warm up. I've actually gotten that tip from someone, I forget who recommended that. Yeah, I didn't need to go as big. But that can really help as well with warming up their skin prior to their waxing service. Does definitely add a little bit of extra time. Anything little left behinds like that, I will kind of spot treat, but first we're gonna do all of our cleanup strips and then I'll go ahead and spot treat those areas. I'm gonna change my gloves. If you need to change your gloves mid-service, first of all, always wear vinyl gloves. They're just so much easier when it comes to waxing. For the most part, the wax peels off pretty easily versus like a nitrile glove. If you have a hard time getting new gloves on, you can either apply gloves straight over those or put a little powder on your hands. Luckily, my hands aren't too like clammy right now, but we all know that that can happen, and trying to get a new pair on can be a complete nightmare. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do this side now. So I am mirroring myself just because I already positioned her like this, and I don't want to keep moving back and forth. I'm actually gonna pull this one towards me. Lots of pressure. Build this one up. Normally for cleanup strips, you wouldn't necessarily have to build it up as much, but we want to avoid breakage. How are you doing so far?
Doing great.
Is it spicy? Not too bad?
Yeah, not too bad at all.
I feel like lower legs can be a little spicy. Ooh, that was a beautiful cleanup strip. Awesome. All right, we'll move on to the inner part of the leg. So now I'm gonna position her toes a little bit outwards here. The reason why I like to do that is so that we're kind of working around to the back, so that once I have her flip over, there's just not a ton still left to do. All right. Pause it, lots of pressure. Build this up a little bit. And create my lip. If you have strings like this, you just kind of wrap it so that you can put it on your stick and dispose rather than keep pulling, getting it all over you. Boom. All right, now this inner leg. So I'm actually gonna position myself on the side of the treatment table and pull up towards me. Pause it at the ankle here. Lots of pressure. Build this one up. It's okay. All right, now we're gonna kind of spot treat. So you can do 3 passes if needed. So obviously we can see some hairs left behind here, right here. So I'm just gonna show you how I kind of spot treat those areas rather than doing full strips and going through a ton of wax, because we already know leg waxing definitely uses a lot of wax. All right, so I'm gonna start with where there's a denser amount of hair. I'm gonna go up, just kind of spot treat these and then come back, build these, and we'll move quickly. These ones are thinner, so I'm just gonna remove it while I'm here. There you go. Super quick, effective, did not need to use a ton of wax. Same thing on the other side. This one's thinner, so I'm gonna remove it first. All right, pretty good. There's still a few, so I'm gonna do the same thing and now go back in the opposite direction again. I like to make sure I'm completing the entire front before moving on to the back so that I'm not having to flip her again and start working on the front again. We just wanna be completely done with one service area before moving on to the next. There we go. No hairs left behind. All right, now I'm gonna clean up any residue. I do need to do a little backwards knee strip there, and then we will have her flip. This looks like a little ingrown removed. Oh, there's one hair there. Ooh, is that an ingrown? Oh, yeah. Are you okay if I get it? So good. My favorite. Love it. You will want to cleanse that too. So you don't want to leave your client like that. So you can grab another cotton round. Anything touched after you've began your service needs to be on your SMA to be disinfected. Whatever you touch needs to be removed. So I'm just grabbing a single cotton round. You cannot be touching the other ones in there or else it's technically contaminated. I'm going to just do a quick cleanse and then that should be good to go. All right. Cool deal. All right, we're moving on to, I need to do a knee cleanup. So I'm gonna have her bend up the knee again before we go ahead and flip over. How old are your kids?
I have a 3-year-old and an almost 2-year-old.
Aw, oh, you're in it.
Yeah.
This is your break right now. You're like,
yeah.
No, this is fine.
Mother-in-law said she was gonna watch the kids.
Oh, nice, that's nice.
It was weird. First time wax, it just took forever. 3 hours, I don't know.
Yeah, you have to go get yourself a coffee or go get some lunch or something. Mine are older now, so I'm like I'm not in that stage anymore, but I remember it.
Yeah.
It's fun though.
It's
Boys, girls.
oldest is a girl and my youngest is a boy.
Aw, so
I've got
cute.
2 and 2.
That's awesome.
1 and 1.
Love it. All right, I have completed all the cleanup strips needed. As you have a client, so first time client, if she stays consistent every 4 to 6 weeks, then you're going to be able to complete this service faster and faster with less cleanup strips as well. So this is a really, really normal first time wax. We're gonna go over aftercare, how to prep for her next wax appointment, and things will get so much easier. So make sure you guys are covering that with your clients as well. All right, go ahead and flip on over for me. If you guys are enjoying this demo, then I have a special gift for you. I actually have a free 6-week online hard waxing course for you. I cover brows to toes and everything in between, including multiple Brazilian demos, all the fundamentals you need to know, even supplies, checklists, some business building stuff. You guys definitely need to get enrolled today. Visit lashwaxoc.com, click the training tab, go ahead and enter your information and you can get started immediately. All right, moving on to the back of the leg. So she actually doesn't have a ton of hair. This is pretty common. This can be from like friction from wearing tighter pants. Also, make sure you pay attention to the hair growth. The back of the leg tends to grow in an inward direction. She doesn't have a ton of hair back here, so I'm gonna follow my normal pattern patterns, but you can, if needed, do tiger stripes as well. I'll leave that to your discretion. If they have a lot of hair, then I definitely would recommend it. Back of the legs can also tend to have more ingrowns just because it's a little bit more difficult of an area, or an easily missed area, I should say, when exfoliating. All right, so we're still doing large basic. Pressure, pressure. We're building this strip. Now, you guys can also opt for using soft wax on legs as well. So if you were to switch over to soft wax, I would highly recommend our clear unscented Rebel soft wax. It definitely will be a little bit more cost effective, especially for legs, or you can even do a combination of the two as well to kind of save on product usage. All right, so over here, I'm gonna be working on the outer part here, but I wanted to point this out. This is actually a blood blister. It's really flat to the skin here, so we're not gonna have an issue. We can lay directly over this, but just know that that's what that looks like. You can kind of see the blood right under the skin. Now, those can be lanced and drained, but that is not within scope here in Oregon under my license, so I'm not going to be doing that. That would be something that a dermatologist would have to do. But when it pertains to waxing, we're totally fine to go straight over that. All right, go ahead and deposit. Pressure, pressure. Build this up. And create your lip. Make sure you're always pulling down past the ankle there, or past the hairline onto the ankle. Okay, so we have a few surface ingrowns here. So what I'm actually gonna do is help release these. So you kind of get next to it, pull out, push down, and then wiggle in. That's gonna help. I'm lucky because I have kind of like pointy nails here, so it makes it really helpful. So I wanna release these before we get to our cleanup strips so we can actually remove these during our cleanup strips. These ones are just a little bit more inflamed, which is why they're red, but still safe to remove. Ooh, I see a little guy over here. These curly Q ones, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera, but these are really common on the leg especially, but this is just surface ingrowns, which just means we need to add a little bit more exfoliation more regularly. So important to go over that with your clients. It's gonna release any of these I see so that we can get it out with our wax rather than having to come back and tweeze those. All right, moving on to that side there. Deposit, let's get pressure. Building this up. Ooh, beautiful removal. See how pliable this stays? That's because I'm removing it at the proper timing when it's still tacky. We do not want to let it set too long. Biggest mistake I see new estheticians and waxers make. All right, moving on to this side. And apparently that's actually a bit controversial, I've heard. It's been brought into my attention, so I'll explain exactly the reason why. When you allow the strip to set too long, it actually creates an encapsulation around the hair rather than having a super solid grip due to the tackiness on the base of the hair. So when you go to pull, sure, some hairs may remove for sure, but you're not gonna have as an effective of a pull, and sometimes, even worse, we're actually breaking it, the hairs at the surface rather than removing from the root. To give you a quick visual, when I'm talking about an encapsulation, the wax actually starts to harden and just kind of sitting around the hair rather than when it's still tacky when you remove it, it's stuck to the hair. So really important, remove when still tacky, okay? just my professional opinion, but I've done both and I've seen the results from both. Tacky is the way to go. All right, we're moving on to cleanup strips. So I actually like to get the back cleanup strip all in one if possible. So I'm gonna apply it at the ankle here, push up, lots of pressure. This one actually feels pretty good for the client. It's like a little calf massage here. Create our lip. Now let's see if I can get away with doing such a big strip. Don't be afraid to use 2 hands if needed, and I like to pull slower. Beautiful. You can see that was an ingrown removed. There's an ingrown removed. There's an ingrown. Here's another curly Q ingrown. Worked perfectly. Okay, now we're moving on to the other leg. Same thing. Deposit. Side note, tattoos are fine to wax over as long as they're fully healed, and they actually can even look really nice and bright after a wax just because of the exfoliation aspect of it, of waxing as well. I always get compliments after waxing like, oh, is that fresh and new? I'm like, nope. All right, remove when still tacky. See how this lip is large, so I'm gonna have a hard time. I like to do that and kind of use a little bit of a sugaring technique to get that up. Kind of tore there. Just gonna reconnect. Oh, let's see if we got some ingrowns. Yep, you can see a few little ingrowns removed in there as well. Perfect. Clean up any residue. Now we're just gonna give everything a look over. See a few guys there. So same thing that we did on the front. I'm just gonna kind of spot treat those areas. I'm actually gonna grab a little bit more wax and try to do both legs at the same time. Ooh, beautiful. That worked great. All right. Oh, there's one little guy there. Let me show you another kind of method you can use too. I really prefer to avoid tweezers unless completely necessary. So if you have a stubborn one, you can kind of do this little figure 8 motion here. There we go. Got it. Oh, I covered it. All right, clean up any residue. All right, so see these little red dots? This is pseudo-folliculitis. So it's actually just inflammation of the follicle, but it's not true folliculitis where there's an infection, it's pseudo. So it's the skin just being like, ooh, what happened? It's super common on legs, especially new clients. So this is gonna determine what Aftercare product I want to apply for her. I am going to use Calm Down by Relax and Wax. So it's actually a topical antihistamine, which can really help with this as well. So I'm gonna have you bend at the knee again. So we wanna apply front to back. Super normal will be gone within the next 24 hours. This is not a histamine reaction and it is not folliculitis. It is called pseudo-folliculitis. I actually have a full podcast all about this and common reactions that can happen paired with waxing, so you guys should definitely go check that out. All right, guys, we have completed our lower leg service. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to go enroll in that free 6-week course. Subscribe before you leave, and then I'll see you back next week.